Alrighty, folks, we're going to do something we haven't done before, and we're going to ask Jason Hartman what are his 7 favorite books that he has read or he recommends to others. Folks, if you like any of these books, look at the show notes below. I will use an Amazon link. Yes, there is a affiliate code or some crap behind the scenes.
Oh yeah, you'll get like 1 penny per
Yeah,
per
if
book.
you click on the link that I put there, I'll make 1 penny if you like any of these books.
Maybe you'll make 5 cents if we're being generous.
There you go. Well, I just want to let people know they'll be below if you want them. So Jason, the show is yours. Which one do we start with?
Well, gosh, Michael, I love books. It seems like more and more I'm listening to them on audio nowadays because sadly, I'll admit to it. I think this happened to all of us. My attention span has just been obliterated by the new form of media that we all have. And I think we all need to fight against this. And we need to view our attention as a muscle. And we need to train it just like working out, because it is really hard to just sit down and read a whole book anymore, at least for me. Sure. So if any of you watching or listening are doing that, I commend you. My mom loves to read books. She'll just read a book all day and just love it. But some, I read and some I listen to on audio, but I do get through either way with both of them together, probably about 100 books a year.
Damn, 2 a week.
About 2 a week, right? There's 52 weeks in a year. And, maybe some I don't finish. Certainly in the reading component of books, I tend to not finish as many of those because sure. I'll just get bored. But, there's some great books out there. And some of them really are better on audio because, as Earl Nightingale taught me many years ago, the spoken word has emotion and has emphasis. It has a lot more to it. There's more data with spoken word than there is with a written word. But some are better in print. And what I tend to do is, if I'm listening on audio only at first, and I like the book, I'll get the book either on the electronic form or the physical book, because there are charts and graphs and things to look back on and kind of, view your book reading for nonfiction as studying. Like, you do it like you would study, and you would look at multiple formats of it and go back to it and refer back to it and stuff like that. But since we're always talking about doomers and how wrong they are all the time, I want to compare 2 books, and I'll start with the doom book. And listen, I'm not bashing this guy. Okay, I want to tell you, he's, I would consider him a friend. He's been on my show many times over the years. I discovered his work back around 2006, maybe 2005. And that's Chris Martenson, when he came out with a thing called The Crash Course. And he revised it as a book. And, it's just interesting. It's about an honest approach to facing the future of our economy, energy, and environment. Way back in 2006, he talked about economic collapse and species extinction and all of these problems, right? And energy scarcity, and none of them happened. It's just this is typical like doom stuff. It's doom porn, and you need to be aware of it. You need to consume it. I mean, I like his work. It's well researched. He's a smart guy. He's a doctor of some sort, and or a PhD, and but it's just all these doomers. It's like we love to follow this stuff because it gives us an excuse.
That's
right?
Exactly what it is.
That's what it does.
An excuse to do nothing. Yep.
Yeah, an excuse to do nothing, and an excuse for our own lack of success or productivity. And in the housing market, as you and I both have talked about ad nauseum, these doomers are just wrong. And I think largely they're just jealous people who missed out. They're just mad that they missed the real estate cycles so many times over. They basically ruined their lives by being doomers. And they're jealous, and that's why they troll people like you and people like me and others who are just telling the real story. That's what's happening.
All right, what do you got for the opposite? You said you had kind of yin and yang. What's the other one?
I love this book, The Rational Optimist by Matt Ridley. This is a great book, and basically he goes through in all of these pages and talks about how we are living in the most. Now, compared to what, right? That's always the question. Yeah. We are living in a very peaceful, abundant time where we have so many opportunities and life just keeps getting better and nobody appreciates it. And
Yeah, it's funny. I heard a line the other day, which I think is true. I want it to be true, but basically, the poor amongst America today is
yeah.
living a better life than King George way back when.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. Yeah. All right.
It is.
The
And then
Rational Optimist. Yep.
another one is now I really like, my favorite book of his was a book called Abundance: The Future is Better Than You Think. And I've had not Peter Diamandis on my show, but I did share the stage with him at an event years ago, and we were both speakers, so I got to talk to him a bit. But his co-author, Stephen Kotler, has been on my show several times, and he's written a whole bunch of books. And their latest work is We Are as Gods. And basically, it says a survival guide for the age of abundance. So this is an optimistic book. Peter's stuff and Stephen's stuff is optimistic on the whole. And what this basically says is, like your comparison with the poor and King George, okay? We can basically do the things that gods of mythology can do today, and we don't even appreciate it. We have this power to literally modify our genome, okay? And we have this power to have massive telecommunication and talk with people anywhere in the world in seconds, with video, I mean, it's an amazing time to be alive. Like, we really have to appreciate that. Now, there are certainly threats, and I think probably the greatest threat we face is Islam, honestly. And we could call it radical Islam, but I don't know, as much as I have many Muslim friends and coworkers and, employees over the years, and they've all been wonderful people, I think that the doctrine is that of expansion and really takeover. So I think that's really maybe the largest problem facing humanity today, whether we're going to live in the 7th century or we're going to live in modern era, right? And, that's kind of another topic, and I don't have a book on that. But,
All right, what do you got for book number 4? So far, we got The Crash Course, The Rational Optimist, and We Are as Gods.
Yeah. Okay, so The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. This is a great book. Yeah. I've read all 3 of his books, and they're all great. But this one really shows you that, it's really kind of like the Behavior Gap book, where he's got those illustrations. And I think we've talked about that book before, because when there's an investment, there's a big difference between the return on investment and the investor return. And why is that different? One of the things he explains really well in this book is he explains how people tend to buy when things are exciting and sell when things are negative, right?
Yeah.
And they're always at the wrong side of the cycle.
Correct.
For real estate right now, people should be buying it for, single family home real estate. Okay. This is the opportunity time when it's boring and the news is not very positive. Housing affordability is strained. This is the time people will likely look back on in 5 years and say, gosh, I wish I would have picked up more properties. Right. That's the thing. But Morgan Housel, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness. It's a great book, and his other books are great too.
Yeah, Morgan Housel, just so you guys know, will be featured at Bigger Pockets event this year, which I will be at. If you're coming, let me know. We'll take some pictures, sign some autographs. But yeah, we'll be there at Bigger Pockets. All right, what do you got for number 5 coming up?
The next one, this book changed my life. At age 17, I was lucky enough to discover the audio abridged version of this book, and that is The Psychology of Winning by Dennis Waitley. Yes. This is just a great little book. It's really short, and it's incredible. It's an oldie. I mean, this book is probably 40 years old now. I don't know. It's old, but it's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, how often do you go back and read that book? Do you go back and read books?
Not too much. I usually don't have time to. I want to be on to the next one, but I do refer to it, and I do. This is just an incredible book. And then his next book after this one, which is also incredible, kind of a different spin. They're both. This is 10 Qualities of a Total Winner, and it's just so good. It's incredible. Dennis Waitley. This is an old timer, but fantastic. And then his book right after this one, that's also a very old book, is called The Seeds of Greatness. Fantastic also, okay?
Okay.
And Dennis Waitley's been on my show. He was episode number 150, and now I'm at like at 2,400, so that's a while ago.
Good memory.
Yeah. And he's the only one of my great mentors who's still alive. Jim Rohn has passed, Zig Ziglar has passed, and Earl Nightingale a long time ago. Okay, the next one. Die with Zero.
Yes.
Bill Perkins. Okay.
Great book.
This book is so good. And this is one of those books that kind of changes your thinking on things and changes your context, because it really shows us that we should be using our money and using our wealth to buy more happiness and buy more experiences. And, what's the point of accumulating all this money if we don't enjoy it? Okay.
I've seen so many people on our trips and travels that are 80 and 90 years old that are, probably worth 3 or 4x what Olivia and I are, and they just can't enjoy it. They just can't enjoy it. It's crazy.
This mindset of scarcity is basically a doomer mindset. Okay.
I don't know if I would call it.
I mean, it's a version of it. That's what
it's a survival instinct for lots of people, at least in the beginning. But what happens, or at least what happened to me, is I did it for so long. It actually took work to break it.
I'm still trying to break it. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. Yeah. During COVID, I remember specifically the day I was sitting at my desk at my house in Florida in Palm Beach County. And I remember I just didn't have anything to do. And so I never really did this. I just opened up a Google sheet and I started adding up all my assets and my liabilities. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I'm done. Like, why am I working so hard? Why am I chasing money? Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I love to work. I think it's important to work. I don't think retirement is a good idea because statistically, people in retirement do not live very long. You need a purpose and a mission. But, when you have enough money to live like multiple lifetimes, really just get over it and stop stressing about it. Okay.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. All right. Well, let's bring us home. You got one book left. You gave us you gave us 6. What's the 7th?
The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Now, this is not the exact book I'm recommending. Okay. This is like a guided workbook, a journal. Okay. Which, I haven't journaled in it. Okay. But
looks
this
pretty
book
clean.
This book is much better on audio. And I don't have the actual book. The book I want you to get is called The Untethered Soul. This is like a workbook about that book.
Got it.
And I want you to get that on audio because the narrator is so good. It's just a fantastic book. It's kind of new agey. I get it. And, I'm not sure what anybody's into, but it's a great book. Okay. And it really explains the concept of how, really think about it. I remember going to this program many years ago, one of those self-development programs when I was like 24 years old. And one of the assignments in the group is you had to get up in front of the group and all they would ask you is, who are you? And most people would start out with their job or their title.
I'm a father.
I'm a dad. I'm an insurance salesman, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
That's not who you are. Okay. Right. And you have to differentiate between the concept of what is happening to you and being the observer of what is happening to you, right? Yeah. And there's so much more depth to that. And, I haven't listened to it lately, but it's fantastic. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, not about wealth, more about development. He's got another great book after that called The Surrender Experiment, which is also great. And there's 7 great books for you.
Oh, I love it. I got 5 new books. The only 2 that you brought, which I totally agree with, Psychology of Money, must read. Die with Zero that's life-changing. No matter where you are in this journey, certainly if you're on my channel, you're trying to build wealth. But Die with Zero by Bill Perkins that was game-changing.
Just understand that won't help you build wealth. It'll just help you spend it.
Yeah. Well, it'll help. What I think it does, it at least did for me, is it gave me permission to enjoy.
Yeah, right.
It gave me permission to enjoy.
Same here.
Yeah. Jason, you're amazing, man.
After reading that book, I started a new company, which I think you've heard about. It is a company. It's an LLC, but the goal of it is not to make any money. Okay. It's just to simply have fun. It's called Mastermind Adventures. And I
Yes.
just charter these yachts around the world and invite people to mastermind for about 2.5 hours a day. We just mastermind a bit. And then we just have fun the rest of the time. And what I do is I try to just maybe break even vaguely or
Yeah.
even lose money. It doesn't matter
Right.
because it's the goal of it is just the networking and the fun and the life experience and the memories that you create. Because one of the things he says in Die with Zero that was very enlightening to me is the idea, and you remember it, Michael, of memory dividends.
Yes.
Okay. How having an experience, you recall that experience, and every time you recall the experience, it's like getting interest paid on your investment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
Memory dividend, yeah.
compounds, it has a compounding effect. So the lesson for me is use your money to buy experiences as quickly as possible so they can start compounding for you. It's just like all the charts we've seen that financial planners use that say, hey, if you start investing early, you're going to be much better off. So I want to say there's two sides to this. You know, it really is important in your first stages of wealth creation and wealth building to delay gratification.
Correct.
Okay. You know, that is the,
You got to get escape velocity. Yeah.
yeah, that is a character building thing. Delay gratification, right? That's what your tenants usually can't do. Okay.
Mhm.
That's why they're not owners. Okay. But once you've delayed gratification long enough and you've got this compounding effect of your real estate investments, your wealth is just growing for you, don't forget to enjoy it.
There you go. Jason, you're amazing. Where can they find you?
Empoweredinvestor.com or on YouTube or any podcast platform. Just type Jason Hartman, you'll find me. And I do want to say, Michael, that we have a great software. It's totally free. It's called Property Tracker, propertytracker.com. It's a deal. It's the best deal analyzer in the business. And it'll also help you track your investments for free. Just propertytracker.com. And we have free monthly master classes. You can sign up for those at empoweredinvestor.com/Wednesday because they're on the second Wednesday of every month.
There you go. Folks, again, in the link below, you'll see these 7 books. It's on Amazon. Yes, if you click them, I make a penny. Let's be clear. Also, I want to hear from you. If you have a book or two that you've read in the last, call it year, leave them below. I'm always looking for books to read because when I fly, I read because I hate flying. I just fucking hate flying. All right, Jason, take care. Later.
Good.